a young age, I got into trouble, and it just followed me, and I wound up going to prison, and doing time and stuff, you know what I mean? And this is where some of those learned experiences came into place. I gained all of my work experience from being incarcerated, not out on the street. I could now that I look back on it in hindsight, this may sound crazy. I guess it was a normal thing in the atmosphere that we grew up in. It was almost expected. We're gonna go to high school, drop out of high school and get in trouble and get locked up. That was the basic norm.
I remember George from being a child. George was a ferocious guy, I'll say. As I look at him in his younger years, I picture him as a criminal, I'll tell you the truth.
What did I see? I seen a person that I didn't like, and the thing about it, the recidivism rate in my neighborhood, it had to be striking over 101. That was one of the vows that I made to myself, that no matter how hard it got out here, I wasn't going back. And it has been hard, but it was hard for a purpose.
From 2008 to maybe 2011, me and George shared a residence. We became very close, and we both pushed each other, but I kind of wanted to be a little better than what I've seen, so I didn't want the generation to continue to go through a cycle of not having, of being in poverty, of being jail-stricken. That's not something that, we wanted to continue. So, as I watched George, in my mind, I say, hey, it's time to make a change, not only with the promotion of him, but also within.
When I get out of here, this is a done deal, and sure enough, I had to make it manifest itself, you know what I mean? I had to remove myself away from certain things in the atmosphere and stuff, and certain people.
George came to us through the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, through the Department of Labor. He was referred to gain some skills and to really go down a new track. While he'd had jobs in the past, he'd been out of work for several years and just really needed to update his skills and needed kind of a fresh start on life.
What stood out with George is he really owned up to and talked about his past criminal background and what he had learned and how he had used it to grow and how he wanted to move forward and influence others.
Well, they gave me a list of what programs they had available, so I chose the one that I thought I was most familiar with, which was industrial cleaning, because when I was in Maryland, I had did some cleaning myself. And while I was incarcerated, that's all we did.
George is very unique. The one thing that I can fairly say about George is he comes to work and he genuinely cares about what he does. They often say that a man's character is defined by his actions when nobody's looking. What George does and the care that he takes to do his job, it's not something that's present with a lot of employees.
I didn't know the opportunities exist inside of Goodwill. Goodwill gave my Uncle George a second chance at being a man, at having a livelihood, at being a survivor. It almost assisted him in his growth. So it's almost, if you can picture a first half and a sequel. Goodwill was part of George's sequel.
It's like Goodwill is my new adopted family. It's the second part to my overall family. It was like when you walk through those front doors, it's contagious.